And now we're going to
Hallelujah.
repeat it one more time. So we're starting the conversations about the nature of the crisis and how we can minimize it by understanding this nature and seeing how it affects our relationships, our well-being, our finances, and creative realization. And today we are going to show you what you can do when you understand your personal nature, the nature of everybody around you, and where the crisis is lingering. Because our life is full of crises. It's full of unexpected conflicts that allows us to grow.
Yeah, and we're experiencing all the kind of crisis on different levels. Do you have an echo?
Yeah.
Can you just turn off maybe on your computer?
Yes, yes.
Just try one more time here. Oh, it's great right now. Can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, guys. Yeah, we're experiencing sometimes, some of us most of the time, not like once in a while, but every day, some points of crisis. Yeah, the crisis starts when we don't receive what we've been expecting for a while. And that's why to understand the nature of our crisis, we really need to jump into some like details of our human nature. And with Svetlana, we are experts in the crisis managing all kind of crisis because by nature we were born with this kind of potential to be the crisis manager, and we invite you to stay with us for the next 35-40 minutes, and we'll be glad to share with you very important information regarding how to avoid, how to dance with your crisis, yeah, when it comes, because we are not on the ideal world. Every day there could be some crisis in your life. And Svetlana, let's just dive into the topic, and I will share my screen on the Zoom.
That's great. And today we decided to show you some of the schematics that we work with in order to ground your understanding in something in the material reality. Because we can talk forever about different ideas, but when you see with your eyes, when you hear with your ears, when you can touch with your hand, the more senses are being involved, the better the information integrates within the body. And the first and foremost important thing for the crisis management is to be in a state of receptivity, because anything that is happening for us. This is not happening to us, it's happening for us. And that means that we are experiencing certain realities in order to expand into those realities. Usually, what we don't know scares us. It creates that state of frozen state, or you run away from it, or you fight against it, because something that you haven't experienced before is now entering your life. But when you are in a state of receptivity, you can include it in your life. And in order to include anything in your life, you need to understand where I am, who I am, where are my boundaries, and what are the boundaries that I can expand to include things, and what are the things I don't want to include. So we are going to start from the personality, from our date of birth. We have a specific code that allows us to understand our inner dream, our inner reality, inner ideas of ourselves, which are not necessarily always ours. But some of it is ours, and some of it belongs to other people. So when you look at different birth dates, you see that everybody is different. But then we come together, and then we expect everybody to be the same. So now we're going to look into what those numbers in our date of birth signify for us, and what we can discover by looking at these numbers about other person who we might not have even known. Maybe we see this person first time.
Yes. And we're talking about like three aspects of human being. And the first one, this is our personality, as just Svetlana was explaining. And how we can calculate it, we have our full date of birth, and we're working right now with only the day when you were born. And the sum only the day of birth without month and year. Yeah, this is their personality number, conscious number. Yeah, for the business vocabulary, we use personality number. For those who really likes to be in esoterical world, we use conscious number. Yeah, and it defines the institute, the field, ego vector, and type of thinking. And we have 9 different type of thinking. It means if you have in your family 5 people, it means you can have all like 3 5 different type of thinking. And the story is we have to communicate, we have to understand to each other, and we have to talk on the same language. And of course we can translate it using like vocabulary, something like from Russian to French or to English, it doesn't matter, but we're talking about understanding all the things in our world. And it also applies when we're talking about businesses. Yeah, because all different type of thinking will relate with really with our results in the business. If we really want to build this kind of communication, or we really destroy everything that we have built so far. And that's why it's very important to understand that we have to bring all the digits up to the single digit. We're talking about every time about 9 different energies, and it's not complicated. Just stay with us, and you really get some very revolutionary information about how we can communicate in the easiest way. You even can imagine how it's easy to build the right communication.
And as we are talking about institute, it's about what is inside of you. What is this field? And the field is electricity that you exude. So every state that you experience could be measured in hertz, because our body is an electrical instrument, and through the amount of electricity in our body comes our action. If you don't have any electricity, anyone knows about electrical devices, if you don't plug them in, they're not going to work. We are the same way. If we're not plugged in into what we are, who we are, what we want from life, what's inside us, what is resonant with other people, we cannot act. We are dead inside. And if you experience that, you know that electrical field within you is very low. You want to sleep, you don't want to talk, you don't want to see anybody. But as soon as you have an idea, this is me and this is what I want, from this point there is an impulse, there is a push. But the push is not sustainable. Sustainable happens when you start thinking about it. I want this. This is the vector of my attention. And now I want it so much that I cannot stop until I get it. And that's what is encoded in your birth date. What will move you through life? What kind of information you want to think about? And as Vasili was talking about 9 different ways of thinking, it's like 9 different eyeglasses. Okay, I put these eyeglasses, I see clearly, but only this distance. I put this kind of eyeglasses, I cannot see anything because those are reading glasses and they're not working for this. And those glasses can change the way I am outside because they have progressive lenses that go darker or lighter. But if I'm without glasses, I see the best. Why? Because when I don't have different filters, which I do have 3 pairs of glasses, I wear none of them. You rarely see me in glasses because I prefer the clear vision. The clear vision does not come from outside. It comes from inside. And sometimes my husband is laughing and he says, you make up your reality. And I go, yes, you got me, 100%. I'd rather make my own reality. If I want something and I look into things with the eyeglasses, I don't see it's happening. But when I see it from my inner desire, from what comes from within me, I can see a possibility. And possibility is the thinking. If I am a strategic person and I strategically think, I see the strategy, how I can get it. If I'm an empathic thinker, I feel what I want, and as much of that feeling is building up, as much I'm looking for that more of that feeling. So we already have a natural way of being in this world. And that natural inner dream is the one that we need to learn to keep because we lose it. Everybody tells us what they want and what they see through their eyeglasses. but we have to keep that inner vision of who we are intact, because what we want is the electricity. And that's the electricity that we come with. We are the spark of God, the spark of common electricity, the general electricity of the world. And so if we unplug from ourselves, we unplug from that source that gave us the moment of birth. And remember that we come on the spark between the mother and the father. They are plugged in into the state of love. And we need to match that in order to survive. Yes?
Yeah. So interesting. And this is only we're talking about personality, the first aspect of human being. The second aspect is our matrix. Yeah, this is all our competencies that we have in our date of birth, or we don't have it. And the reason is why would we really need to know this information? Because we can work on them, we can develop them, we can implement in our life. And a digit in our date of birth reflects a specific competency of personality. And for example, if you have a personal in your date of birth number 2, it means you have the competence of the empathy. You can really have this kind of feeling. I really want to understand other people. If you have number 3, for example, this is a competence of analysis. You can analyze things. Do you use it or not? This is another question. We really need to talk with you. But to work and unlock these competencies, to activate them, we don't need to go to any universities, guys. We can stay with us in our life, work, create, raise the energy, and these competencies will really create our objective reality. And all these kind of talents that we have in our date of birth is just incredible. I still remember when 6 years ago, the first time I had opportunity to know about myself in this kind of detailed plan, I was so impressed, and I got a lot of answers about my mindset, about the way I think, the way I act, and why I am so good in these particular things and why I'm not so good. Yes, it's true. I'm not so good in many things, but right now I know what I really need to do in order to activate all the competencies. And this is like just incredible, incredible. I find. What about you, Svetlana? I mean, when you found yourself
I think that you are perfect, at least for me. First of all, we are separated by the distance. If we would be in same household, maybe I'll find out some things you are not good at. So the first and foremost, we need to understand that we come together for specific reasons. And when we come together for specific reasons, those reasons are encoded in your birthday. Why? Because I know what I'm good at. Vasili knows what he's good at. He knows I'm good at certain things he doesn't have, and I know he's great in things that I don't have, and that's where collaboration happens. Same thing, by the way, happens in a family. When you live in the same household, in the beginning, you come together because you find something different in another person. You do find similarities, of course, but at the moment when you see something different, you want that because you don't have it. But then you look at the person and say, he's so different, she's so different, he should be like me. But the matrix shows you that you are different for specific reasons, because we come together as a fabric of life, and everyone is intertwining with each other. And intertwining is possible when you have different talents. But when you do not understand your own talents, you take them for granted. That happens all the time. We are good at certain things that come easy to us, so we don't really have an understanding that this is valuable. And very often we lose the personal value of that what we have. And we're constantly looking for somebody else to give us something we already possess sometimes. So looking at your birth matrix allows you to actually understand your value for humanity, and your value for your family, and your value for your business, and most importantly, your value in the creative process that you are creating, because we are creative beings in the process of creation, and that creation is us. So always when we miss something, we try to work hard on it instead of working easy and accomplishing faster that what is already there. So you can look at your birth date and bring every number into the single number, like the day of birth, for example, or the whole number together. everything, date and month and year, and then you will get not only single things that you have, but the whole bigger vision of how we act in life and why we act this way and what we believe is the most important thing that we have to accomplish. And then you will realize that you make it your strategy, and then you realize that this is incorrect strategy because there are many other things and layers in life besides just the single numbers.
Yeah, yeah, and we're talking about the mission and our action that kicks in at the age of 33, and that's why the crucial period in our life is from the age of 30 up to 36, before it's been activated and after. And that's why I really need to understand upfront what I really need to do in my life in order to be ready for this period of the life. This is really determines what you really need to do in your professional realization. And I'm very experienced in consulting, like for career orientation, when we're talking about like in different age, because in reality, as a fact, there are a lot of people at the age of 30, they really don't get this kind of excitement anymore from the things they do, and they really don't understand why. And recently I have a client at the age of 37. She was experiencing incredible creative things in her mind, because before she was like thinking and doing one way. Right now, after 33, she was thinking one way, doing another stuff. And she really couldn't understand herself. And it's not fun, yeah, when you don't understand yourself for a while already. And she was talking to her husband, please, let's do something because I really don't understand myself. And when we had the opportunity to sit together and we explained all this kind of three aspects of our human being, the first numbers, the second like competencies, the third the mission, you have a clear idea right now what's going on in your life with all this kind of energy. It doesn't matter, do you believe it in energies or you don't believe it? It does exist, and it really affects our life and all of our results. And right now, we really need to go deeper in details in order to understand how to manage all these kind of energies and how to communicate with everybody on this earth in order to understand that only knowing the date of birth, you can know on a distance, and you can create together just incredible things.
Absolutely. When you look at your hand, you see 5 fingers, and it's very evident to you that these are different fingers that you use for different. Even you put commitment ring on commitment finger, and when you put something on the pointing finger, you're not going to put your wedding ring, for example, here, right? There are a purpose for everything in life. But when we come together with people, I'm not talking about 5 people, even 2 people, for example, you lose that state of happiness and harmony because immediately you want everything to be the same. But the crisis is lingering exactly in that. When we try to do something with somebody else, when we are on our own, all is great and wonderful. But some people don't even have a good relationship with themselves. They cannot find the harmony with themselves. Why? Because the picture in our mind is one. But in reality, we have different potential and different state of mind and different way of thinking and different way of relating than we think. And the way we think is also comes from some other people, maybe your mother or your father or your teacher or your preacher or your neighbor or whoever else told you how you should be. So when you start pursuing material world, when you start getting things in the material reality, you realize that you were thinking one thing. And now in the material world, you see totally different result. And the money, for example, or relationship, for example, or children in the family, for example, is the result of your action. And in order for us to choose what to do in the material world, we need to first understand that we are the material world. This is a materia, and that materia has specific measurements, which is your date of birth. And the goals come from that date of birth, not just from your thinking. But from your date of birth, you can look into what I want, which is your day, only day of birth, and what you will do about it, which is the summary of all the numbers brought to the single number in your birth date. But also, we usually in the consultations look into what is the rhythm of the person, because the date of birth also helps you determine what is your personal year, what is your personal month, and what is your personal day, which gives us an understanding on this day or on this year. The potential has to do with the health, or has to do with the money, or has to do with destruction of everything, because to build something new, you have to disturb what's already been there and what's already old and outlived itself. So when we understand that, we set the goal that is possible to accomplish and that is reasonable to accomplish, and that it's connected to the goal of your overall theme of life. So always we are looking into many layers. One is the personality. The other thing, what that personality is doing, and then when that personality is doing it, and who this personality gets involved with, and what's the goal and reason for this union, for example, and how we can apply it in the business of our life, and then in the business where we create something. Our creative outlet is also inside our date of birth. So if we want to climb the career ladder, we need to understand one simple thing: nothing is random. Everything has the number to it. And within the number, there is a trait of personality. There is a way of the personality. The destiny is not to be in some place. The destiny is to move from different stages of life, from one goal to another goal. The destiny is within the movement. The destiny is not one point. When we arrive somewhere, immediately we want something else. So how can we decipher all of that?
Yeah, in order to attract like all this kind of greatness in our life, we really need to remember and understand that we live in three different realities: subjective reality, objective, and upper objective reality. And of course, like everything that's going on inside of your mind, body here, we're talking about subjective reality. And of course, when you have this kind of idea, I want career, I want this goal, I want this business, I want this kind of relationship. Everything is like starting from here, but you have to go with these kind of thoughts to object to reality. Start communicating with other people. Start like doing like all this kind of stuff that you really want in your life. And of course, where we need to start with? We need to start with the developing of our consciousness. This is the primary goal, because when you develop your consciousness, it doesn't matter where you're going, which country you live, and it doesn't matter how old you are. You can change your situation, you can change your results right away when you understand the power of your date of birth and some weaknesses, because we have a pluses and minuses. And of course, in objective reality, all kind of results just so clear. We're not talking about is this good or this is bad. It's just clear. If you like it, you can stay with this. But if you don't like it, there is some way that we can like manage with you, just go with you from your subjective reality to objective reality and achieve these goals. Because the main point with Svetlana that we're talking about, we have tools. We have tools that can help us to create better life. It doesn't matter, I keep repeating, it doesn't matter how old you are and where you live right now and what was your career, because the reality, there is a lot of people that just lost their career. There's some economical stuff going on in the world, and what's the point? What you need to wait for? You need to understand there is solution right away here. And I'm so happy that we have the slides over here in our Zoom conversation. And guys, on the Instagram, you can join our Telegram channel where you can join us for some practical stuff when we do some express talking about yes, express consultations with all our members, and we really invite you. And we will share this link after like we finish this stream with Svetlana.
Right. And within our channel, you will see those schematics, which really help you ground that information into your material reality. Because what Vasili was talking about right now, the goals are also the tool for you to come together in the common reality, in the objective reality. Today in the morning, I had a consultation with two women. And I called it alternative family because in a business, we create a family, even though it's not as intense as it is at home. But in the business, we also form relationships that when the goal is lacking, when the clarity is lacking, it creates misunderstanding. So those are two friends, and they are planning to do the business together. And they've met and they've spent time together. And when we start talking about this conversation, the first question I ask, how do you feel about this relationship? Because rarely in the business we ask those questions. In the business, we set the goal, but we don't ask important question. An important question for them was to really express the feeling. And both of them said, it's wonderful, it's amazing, we feel connection, intimate depth, and all of that. And then I said, great, wonderful. And how about in your business relationship? How do you see that? And immediately, in 1 second, these people that love each other, that understand each other, that have common interests and all of that, one of them was saying, and I want this, but I am afraid, I'm scared that maybe this other woman is expecting things from me that I cannot give her, that I cannot do for her. And the other one was saying, yes, I can give the structure to our relationship. I can give it a goal. I can set a priority because her specific talent is in goal setting, like with Vasili, is the same thing in his mission. But I am afraid, but maybe she's not ready for it. Maybe she doesn't want it. And our whole conversation was about, you can talk about things. In the common reality, you can ask questions and ask what expected of me. And you can create a contract in which you will specify your roles and you will specify your goals and you will specify the dates. Because the other thing was about, and we spent 2 or 3 hours together, and that was that. That was wonderful. I mean, that's great. But if you have a business goal, in addition to friendship goal, maybe you can spend time in a more structured way in which you have the result in mind, and then you strategize your meeting. Maybe you have coffee and you walk for 15 minutes, and then you have a discussion, and then you talk about other things, and then you have a business discussion. And so analyzing the nature of who you are also helps you analyze the nature of the other person, because once you understand 9 personalities, 9 competencies, 9 talents, 9 strategies, 9 missions, once you understand 9 years, 9 months, 9 days, you can also understand archetypically what are the same things I'm doing and doing and doing, stepping on the same garden rack, because I do not understand where in my life journey I am and where in life journey this person is. And that's just a matter of conversation and finding the common goal in this time and this rhythm, and understanding that you do have different rhythms, but there are certain things that you can do together, and everything comes from that, from relationship. That's why I'm sharing this consultation was very revealing for everybody. Because people do not understand that money, career, business do come from people. And what's best is when you have commonality with this person already in the form of friendship, but to move it from the friendship into the business is a whole different thing. And a lot of times people do not understand it starts with competency number 1, the status and the strategy and the management of that relationship, which is moving from friendship purely to friendship and business. So let's talk about relationships.
Yeah, relationship is a very hot topic. Very hot topic. Every time when we have clients, so with any kind of like expertise, experts on from the business, we don't talk about their expertise. We're talking about their relationship because it's really connected with the level of energy and the level of money that we can attract in our life. And that's why you guys really need to remember that all opportunities they come from the another people. And we have ability to build this relationship in a good way, or we can just destroy it, all the kind of relationships, and we stay by ourselves and just enjoying what we have in front of us. And we have like four types of relationship. Yeah, we have a business relationship when we really want to build a business with our colleagues, partners, and we have a lot of expertise in building these kind of relationships. When we have two partners that really want to create business, to explore in other countries, to expand their business, they need to find a representative. We are here to help them in order to understand how we can create a better team in order to get attracting better results in a business. Yeah, that's why we're talking about investors, specific investors. And I saw experience in this when we have this kind of open conversation. Before even investing any dollars, we have a conversation with the investors, with the partners, and I explain to them like all their nature without like any kind of like pluses, minuses. This is like this, guys. And if you have your personal calendar, I will show you what you'll be experiencing during this year. And if, for example, if you're in your personal year 7, 8, or 9s, you have to pay attention, very big attentive to this kind of personal years. We're talking about huge like opportunities to attract some unexpected something like expenses in your life from different points of life. And another type of conversation, relationship, we're talking about social type of relationship. Yeah, it's everyone who surrounds us in society. This is our neighbors, like let's say people that we meet in doing some hobbies, maybe in the schools, in the sport. This kind of relationship is very important. You see, guys, it's very hot topic. I even can't talk. Svetlana, if you can
Yes.
keep going.
Absolutely. And social relationship is not different from business relationship because every person who surrounds you is a possibility for co-creating something, whether it brings you money or not, it depends on your goal. But we definitely meet with people who bring opportunities and who bring their talents and expertise in our relationship. And on the social arena, the most important thing in relationship is to understand the status, because sometimes in the family, for example, we lose our standing. We forget I am a child in this relationship, or I am a wife, or I'm a husband, or I'm an aunt or a grandma. And what comes with this status is different. Because the child is different from adult, and adult is different from a relative within the family. In the social arena, it's the same thing. When you are in a conversation with somebody, in a meeting with somebody, you need to give this person a status, so you understand your boundaries within this conversation and your goals and your strategy. Without that, the expectations or desires overcome the relationship, and we do not listen to each other. We are overcame by these states of desire to get something from somebody. The social relationships are about long-term strategy, because usually we meet or we live around the same people for a long time. And therefore, what you can do with somebody you meet on a train or on a plane, you cannot do in a social arena where you meet with everybody. Or, for example, if you are a public personality, and when you go on Instagram with live, like we're doing right now, we will not sit here and discuss very intimate details that you might discuss with your friends. So always in your life, understanding your competency, understanding your date of birth allows you to give yourself a status. Even if you don't know yet who this person might become for you, you can give yourself a status. You can understand, who do I want to be in this relationship? And I am always the leader in my life. And again, a lot of times in conversations with clients, what comes up is, and if he wanted, and if she will allow me, and I am scared of expectation of somebody else. Where the first and foremost, the beginning of any relationship is, I am here because this is for me. Life is not happening to me. I am happening within my life. I am co-creating with my life. And therefore, what is my attention right now, what is my focus right now, will determine how that relationship will unfold. And then the personal relationship. This is the most interesting relationship, because here we take things personally. That's why it becomes so hot, because he said that because of me, he feels that because of me, she told me this because I am not whatever. So we, instead of measuring through our empathic state of, I am here with you, I'm measuring, I'm getting information within my body, within my mind, within my electrical field. I'm getting information. We're taking it personally. For example, if you visit somebody who's sick, and I'm sure that happens in every family, within 5 minutes, you have to attune. You cannot come to the bedside of somebody who's doing not so good and go like, oh, it's so great outside, let's just go walk around, let's just... You cannot come with this energy. You have to come down and you can, how are you? How was your day? What did you eat in the morning? Would you eat at all? So you are, it might be not natural to you, but you need to bring yourself to the personality level that you're dealing with. And within the families, for example, or within the, even if you don't have a family, maybe you've met somebody first time, but you want to create the family with this person, the same thing's happening. So it's important to feel, is this person is on the same wavelengths? Because a lot of personal relationships are built on the hope, on the strategy. I will take this person, I will put them up where I am, or I will bring them down where I am. Because they're too loud, they're too bright, there's too much going on, the clothes is too expressive, and I will dim this person. Good luck. Or this person is too quiet, I need to make him or her a little louder, and they should act faster because I'm faster. And that personal kind of relationship is impersonal, because you are not seeing the person. The personal relationship happens between person and person. And so here the status is also very important, just the same thing as it was a business. The status is what kind of role am I willing to play, and what kind of role is natural to me. If I'm a motherly mother and I want to spend all my time with my family, with my children, and play with them and teach them and all of that, that's great. But if I'm not naturally like that, it will be suffering, even though I have the status of the mother. And therefore, I give that status of the nurturing nanny kind of thing to another person, and I do something else. I'm still a mother, but what kind of mother? Yeah, so always we are looking into our date of birth for consultation. If we don't know, if we do not understand who we are, we look at it as a key. And then we see, okay, I don't have number 2 in my matrix whatsoever, which means I'm not going to be asking thousands of questions. That's okay. Maybe I'll observe. Maybe I have another way of making people comfortable without asking questions. Because sometimes people think that if you ask thousands of questions, it shows your interest in the person. Well, for me, it's annoying. It's only good for somebody who doesn't have number 2 in their...
Yeah, but when you know his or her personality, you accept, because like the power is accepting all these kind of different personalities, yeah, in our life. And this is very important to understand, because relationship is a very emotional part of our life. Because we're looking sometimes, most of the time, for somebody to blame, like on what kind of results we have so far. But going deeper in relationship and understanding about different type of thinking, about different type of reaction, and remembering about putting 100% in your relationship, you will receive back 100%. And of course, when we're talking about wife and husband, this is like the most hottest part because we found ourselves in all kind of families, and after like a couple years of our incredible life, we're experiencing some difficulties, and it's normal to go through some difficulties and crisis in our personal life, in our business, or in our social life. And we've been talking a lot with Svetlana about how to avoid this kind of crisis. And really invite you guys to participate, ask questions, and join our channel in Telegram, where we'll be talking about more in a private mode, yeah, and talking about your personal situations over there.
And once you join the channel, right away you can ask a question and you can give us a date of birth. We will be doing once in a while, we will be doing those conversations, and once in a while we're gonna just go through analysis and show you where the crisis is about to happen, already happened in your relationship, and how you can come out from it. Because most of the crises come from misunderstanding, not understanding, whether yourself or other. By the way, if anything happens to somebody else, it's never about you. It's about their state, that moment, maybe their day or month or year, or maybe whatever happened before they saw you. And do not take things personally, even in the most personal relationship. We also are all standing on the shoulders of the giants that came before us, our ancestors. And within our ancestral lineage, we have all kinds of numbers and all kinds of personalities. And I was just doing a session, and we'll be doing another session today with another person, which the session about relationship within the whole system, ancestral system. And when you write down all the days and months and years, you will notice that some numbers repeat themselves. And this is so incredible because you can see what are the competencies of this cluster of souls. What are the lessons that they're doing again and again and again and again? In my family, everyone is born in June. It's just incredible. Why? Because June is about choices. It's about understanding how to make the choice with the understanding of yourself. We usually make the choice that is expected of us. And that choice never end up in a good relationship because you sacrifice. And after the sacrifice, you want the reward for your sacrifice. And that also never gets anywhere in relationship. When you are fulfilled and happy within yourself, remember we started with who am I? And what do I want? And how can I get it all by myself? And what do I need to do for that? And who do I need to be with so I'm not being judged for everything I do for myself? I'm not an egoist. I just have an ego. Everybody has it. It's the story of your life. And when you look at the ancestral relationship, it's the whole pyramid of the people, and you're in the pinnacle of this creation. So I'm born in June. It's me who's responsible for my choices.
Yeah, guys, stay tuned with us. And this Thursday, we'll be talking about business. And if you're really interested in this topic, you can prepare and send us your questions, and we'll be talking about your questions in our next stream. And it was great. It was great to spend some time just a very, very important topic about relationship and this kind of the human nature. Yeah, it starts with our date of birth. And Svetlana and Vasili, there are two masters that can help you in any questions. You know, Svetlana, recently I started like talking to the people. I can solve you any problem. Just give me a date of birth. That's it.
Right. And by the way, you can also solve any problem of yours. You just need a methodology. We are methodologists because both of us are born with the number 7 and our desire. Our desire is to see how things could be done well, perfectly and fast. So you don't spend hours upon hours straining yourself in conversations that lead nowhere, that you don't spend years with the people that are absolutely not your people, that you choose wisely, because the most important commodity is your time, the time of your life. Money that we are making can buy you time. So buy yourself some time, get a consultation, understand who you are, get the knowledge, come to our broadcasts, webinars, seminars, whatever, and keep moving into direction that is already predicted in your date of birth. But you can choose not. You can choose to ignore it and go with your eyes blinded, or
Yeah.
you can take off the blindfold and just see it for yourself right away.
Yeah, there are only two ways
that
to get
we
some
get some
experience. Yeah,
experience.
from the
Yeah, from
life
the life
stuff,
Very
but we
expensive.
get some experience, or with the knowledge, and we
and we
invite you to
invite you
get
to
some experience with your knowledge. Guys, stay tuned. Thank you so much. See you on Thursday.
You.
buy food.